What is up, Scarf fam? I am back with another deck profile, only 24 hours removed from Trangsu Storm, and I decided I would go ahead and dial us back a bit. We're not going to play so much for combo deck, we're going to play a deck that's meant to stop and stifle the combo decks, and we're going to take a trip down memory lane by playing some yellow cards, right? What are yellow cards? But anyway, before I get into this deck profile, let me give a shout out to my sponsor, Alec Pastrana, Beard Collectibles. He's the best shop owner on the planet. Beard Collectibles has the best prices on its all sealed product. If you're looking at boxes, they're $65 a piece. If you're looking to buy a case, it's $720. Pre-order now. Get your product ASAP. You're going to need tons of creds going forward into this new format because the cards from this set are on the same exact power level, if not higher, probably higher than actually set 3. So be prepared for that. You're going to need it. But otherwise, let me go ahead and jump to this deck profile. So first, let me start off with the leader. So this new Bardock leader is not being talked about at all, and I think that's a huge mistake. I think this leader provides a lot of strengths that we just don't think about. And the more I've been playtesting this format, the more I've found certain things valuable. And so, for instance, playing a deck that can, like, if we just take the lessons that we learned from the Trunk Storm combo deck, and we try and apply them to a deck moving forward, we know that there's 2 really good cards out of the 3 that we talk about that are really good to counter or be countermeasures, and that's Flying Nimbus and Crusher Ball. Well, what's great about Bardock is basically you can choose 1 card from your life, add it to your hand, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode that cost 3 or less, and KO it. Right, and then once you awaken, you draw 2 cards and flip this card over. When you flip it over, when this card attacks, draw a card, and then activate main. Choose one of your opponent's take 1 life and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it, so it doesn't have any cost restriction on the backside. But so essentially, Crusher Ball and the front side of Bardock are like peanut butter and chocolate. And this is great to be able to disrupt those tempo decks. So like any deck that's trying to flute back, so if you think about scrambling Assault Sun Goten, if they try and swap into that and you Crusher Ball it, they've lost a lot of leverage that turn, and they're forced to try and find an additional attack so they can unyielding and replay their Bardock. So you end up taking away a lot of their momentum with a card like Crusher Ball, and if they don't flute it back, then you can just use Bardock's ability on the front side to KO that thing that was there. Or if you think about the decks that are like intensifying power trunks, if you can somehow stifle their attack, and so it's left on board, you can then KO it on your turn so they can't evolve in the chain attack trunks on the next turn. So the leader plus Crusher Ball provides a lot of really sweet interactions that I'm a huge fan of. And then of course Flying Nimbus is the best negate in the game right now, aside from full power energy being the next best. It's because it's going to be able to slow down a lot of those decks, and this is one of those key cards aside from Sensu being that can prevent a lot of attacks in a single turn. And so with that, we have more defensive measures. We have 4 Gene Family of Justice, this is another main reason to play a leader like Bardock, because you get the free blocker, and that's something that I'm discovering more and more as I play this format, is the fact that having these free blockers that go along with your leader is a huge boon. And so I think now you'll start to see more decks like Caulifla, more decks like Bardock, more decks like Trunks start to come into the fray, because as games get faster and you need to be able to leverage all of your energy, you need to be able to tap out but still be protected, these free blockers are going to be a huge boon to you as you move forward. And then so now we just go into the rest of the deck, which is the rest of the deck is swaps. So I can go ahead and explain how the deck actually wants to play and what you want to do. So if we look at our tutor, right, Successor of Hope costs 0. So Successor of Hope is essentially just any additional copy of any card in the deck that you need to find when you need to find it. And that's what I like about Successor of Hope. And as I've stated before in the previous video, having the ability to tutor through, like look through your deck, see all the cards that are there, figure out where cards are, and be able to get the exact card you need is incredibly powerful and does exactly what you need all of the time. And that's why Successor of Hope is such a good card. It's a card that never loses value. It never has diminishing returns in a deck like this, because you're always going to be able to get something no matter what. And of course, because the free shuffle is good, and shuffling your deck is a thing that is highly underrated in card games. And so the more effects you have to shuffle your deck, usually the better off your deck is. So what we did for some maths is we did 7 playable 1-drops. So on our turn, we did 7 playable 2-drops on our turn, and all of those have swap. Main reason why it's 7 and 7 is because your 1s and your 2s are what you need to see the most often to be able to start getting the engine going, to be able to start getting your plays off and start getting you on curve and off to the races. Because the point of playing swap is to be able to play everything in your deck slightly, if not cheaper than it already is the cost on the card. And so swap does that and provides a huge advantage from that. And the reason why this leader is so great, and the reason why yellow is so great, is because you get all the defensive cards that allow you to gain more energy throughout the course of the game. And the more energy you gain throughout the course of the game, the more value all of your swap generates, because it allows you to swap into your highly impactful cards but still have energy out to be able to defend yourself. And so let's take a look at the configuration of all the swap cards we have. So we have 4 Adoptive Father Son Gohan and 3 Bardock the Progenitor. So the reason why we play 4 of Grandpa Gohan is because we want to be able to have the blocker, and we value that more so than we value taking the life from Bardock the Progenitor, but you still want the extra swap. And so having these 1-drops that swap into a 2 for free is pretty absurd a lot of the time. So ideally, you just want to start by playing your 1, so you play your Adoptive Father Son Gohan, and then now it says swap 2. So then you'll return your Adoptive Father Son Gohan to hand, or your Bardock to hand, and then you'll play one of your 2s. So whether if it's Dependable Dynasty or if it's Intrepid Dynasty Son Gohan, but you'll play those. And so ideally what you want to do is you want to play your 1-drop on turn 1, right? So you want to play your Adoptive Father Son Gohan on turn 1. Next turn, you want to then be able to go back to you. You'll swap it to hand. You'll put a 2-drop into place. So you put in Dependable Dynasty Son Goku. Now you tap 2 yellow, right? So 1, 2. And then you push that back to hand, and then you bring out your 3, which is Ultimate Potential SS2 Son Gohan, which when this comes into play is the same exact effect as LeBron James from set 3. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. And so now this is here. The following turn, so now we're going into turn 3. For 2 energy, we're going to pay 2 yellow, right? And we're going to swap into our 4. Our 4 is Discover Dynasty Son Gohan. When you swap into this card, you draw 2 cards. So you notice how everything we're doing is it's way undercosted, especially once you get to the 3-drop Gohan. You're now only paying 2 energy to put a 4 onto the field. So you're basically paying 2, returning this to hand, right? So you're plussing a card for the turn. You're then playing the Gohan, so now you're minus, and then you're drawing 2. So essentially you just drew 2 cards off of your deck clean, which is a really powerful effect. And then you still have the energy up to be able to defend yourself. You still have stuff like Nimbus or Crusher Ball as the game goes on, because you're just going to keep using your energy as a resource from all the swapping cards. And then next, you're going to start to raise the curve even more. So now you're going to go play this 4-drop for 2. Now you're going to play a 5 for only 3 energy. So you're going to tap 3 yellow, you're going to push this Gohan back to hand, and you're going to play the 5-drop SS Blue Son Goku at the apex. And once you play that, when it comes down, it KOs any battle card that your opponent has, except if it has barrier, of course. And it has barrier itself, so it's protected against your opponent's removal, so you don't have to worry about losing it, especially when you want to start to set up your big plays. So now, once the 5-drop Goku's in play, the next turn, for 4 energy, that's it, 4 energy, you're going to pull this off your field. You're then going to play Height of Mastery Son Goku or the Secret Rare, and then you go from there. Right? And then most of the time, the SR is all you really need ever. I'm playing one of the Secret Rare because it's flashy, but to be honest, I'm probably just going to play 4 of the just standard Height of Mastery Son Gokus because it's just way better, because you enable swap so easily in this deck that you're going to be able to get the effect. So when you swap into this card, you choose 3 of your opponent's battle cards or energy, ignoring barrier, and switch them to rest mode. And so essentially what that means is, if you're playing against SS3 Son Goku and he thinks he's going to be able to do something about you by having 3 energy untapped, nah, bruh. You're going to play your Height of Mastery, you're going to tap down 3 of his energy, and then he's going to be in big trouble, because this is a big boy. Triple Strike, Dual Attack, 35k, and then of course you have the rest of the cards that you can be able to combo with the deck. The deck is slim on 10ks. We only run 8 total, so the rest of it is all 5k combos, and of course our super combo. And so I know people are going to be like, why are you playing Unwavering Solidarity, Shigesh? You know Chrono exists, you know Chrono is a card. And it's like, I get that, but Unwavering Solidarity, Shigesh allows this deck to be even faster. So those turns where I'm talking about, where you have like Ultimate Potential Son Gohan, so if you have that in hand, you can Shigesh into this on your turn, pay 2 energy, swap into the 4, and then like you've just done everything at a discounted rate if you haven't already been able to swap from the 2 to the 3. And so now you're able to just swap on your turn and just go straight from a 3 to a 4, and then now you've drawn those extra cards, you've gotten extra value because you KO'd something on your opponent's field, and then now you're off to the races, like I said. And then of course, all the while, since this deck draws so many cards, since it gets through everything it needs to get to, it thins itself out, you're going to be able to see your answers, you're going to be able to see your Crusher Balls, your Flying Nimbus, you're going to be able to play your Genes, and your opponent's going to have a really hard time breaking through. So I know this deck is pretty simplistic. I see the fact that it's just 50 yellow cards, and it's probably a configuration option that you could figure out, but if you haven't tried it out with this leader and you haven't thought of the upside of playing free blockers, that's something that you can take from this deck and apply as you move forward. Also think about the ratios. Think about how many ones you need to play. Think about how many twos you need to play. And then look at the powerful effects that you want to include in your deck that's going to allow swapping to be super easy, super efficient, and generate a ton of advantage for you. If you want to move into this format, focus on playing decks that can make the game go long. Figure out how to extend the game and do things that are absurdly powerful. Even though this deck extends the game, the game is only now going to 5 turns as opposed to 2 to 3. So it's only extending it 2 extra turns in order for it to be able to do something incredibly powerful. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I know it was quick. I hope you understood everything I was talking about when I was talking about swap. But I think it is a really powerful mechanic, and I think it is something that you need to learn to abuse and learn how to play, because it's almost like it's a self, it's a built-in combo deck within itself. So you have the ability to just do powerful things really fast and accelerate your game plan, but you're playing yellow, so you get all the benefits of playing yellow, which is Crusher Ball and Nimbus, and then of course your free blockers, and then the really powerful swap cards, and then of course Shigesh. Until people start main decking 3 to 4 Cronoa, Shigesh is still something that's going to be in the format, especially with how popular Flute Aggro has been. And this is a deck that can take and go toe-to-toe with Flute Aggro as we move forward, because I think that we're going to be able to, we're going to need yellow in order to be able to get past this wave of decks that are coming through. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing. If you want to give me some feedback, tell me how much you hate it after I just posted an amazing deck profile that probably shaped the metagame as we move forward, and now I tone it down with something like this. I get it. It's fine. You can hate me all you want. But in general, thank you guys so much for everything. Hope you enjoyed this deck profile. Okay, bye!